Hello, I'm Janice Taryn, Director of Policy, Technology, and Innovation at the Massachusetts Health Data Consortium, or MHDC. I run our Data Governance Collaborative, also known as the DGC. We start each of our weekly meetings with a series of industry quick updates to learn about new and proposed regulations, laws, standards, industry initiatives, and other activity. Join us for this week's updates. And if you'll go to the first slide. So there are actually two new facts related to No Surprises IDR. And this first fact is, excuse me, on batching and air ambulance. So it includes information about the topics that are on the screen, including how to look at the batch rules that changed in August based on court activity. Sorry, there was an IDR that came out that changed it, but I think it was precipitated by some of the court activity. Most of that IDR was information on how to judge when the new rules apply versus the old rules, and how to deal with determinations of improper batching, how to deal with a submission window that might have technically expired while things were on hold, and also information on how to deal with air ambulance disputes, which were also on hold because of the court activity. So you can find that fact at the link. Any questions, comments, thoughts there? All right, let's go on to the next slide. So this is actually a shorter fact, and it includes one no surprises bit, which is related to ACA changes that happened in the same law, as well as some no surprises bits. And so the ACA change is actually about some 2023 guidance on culturally and linguistically appropriate services. And the interesting thing there is that it highlights locations where more than 10% of the population natively speak a language other than English. And so I think that I'm gonna take, I hadn't seen that guidance, but I'm gonna go looking for it and take a look at it because I think that sounds really interesting. And then there's also some specific information on how to apply the new IDR batching requirements. And then also something I found interesting, whether you can consider a full single air ambulance transport as a batched service, because because they typically have a base rate and then a mileage rate. So there's technically two different things being charged. And if you want to dispute both of them, I guess I personally thought of that as one item previously, but I guess there's been some discussion about that. So that was interesting as well. So you can find that fact, which is very short, at the link there. Any questions or comments? All right, let's move on. So the last thing, this was very interesting. The Federal Committee on Statistical Methodology, which is a new agency for me, it's abbreviated FCSM. They've released a new equitable data toolkit. And this toolkit is aimed at supporting federal agencies in equity work, but it's more generally applicable. And it covers three major areas: race and ethnicity data, rural definitions and measurements, and analyzing persistent policy areas. Each of the areas is further divided. So the race and ethnicity section actually addresses privacy and confidentiality issues, data collection, data analysis, data access and dissemination, and how to collect detailed data while still complying with the current OMB standards, which basically say ethnicity is either Hispanic or not Hispanic. So I thought that was a pretty interesting discussion, and as you can see, it goes into lots of areas that we care about. So I definitely recommend this, and I will be trying to keep an eye on this committee in the future. Any comments, thoughts, questions there? All right, if you'll go to the next slide and pause there. I hope you learned a lot from our quick updates. If you're interested in finding out more about the DGC and its other activities, email me at dgc@myhealthdata.org. That email address is also on your screen.